Under 10 minutes to go to the $1 million Florida Derby. Number 1 is Fierce Wind. Nick Zito also trains Warpass and Cool Coleman.
Fierce Wind, a quick early burst of speed from the gate. Usually last time out he defeated Big Truck in the Sam Davis at Tampa Bay, and that horse came back to win the Tampa Bay Derby in his next start.
We got a feel-good story with number 2 Smooth Air, trained by 70-year-old Benny Stutz.
By far the best horse of Stutz's training career. His wife won't let him say Kentucky Derby around the house. He's got to speak in initials, KD. Horse is 18-1. If he pulls this off, the biggest day of their lives.
Even more from Nick Zito's overflowing barn of 3-year-olds with Datara.
They will try taking the blinkers off of Datara today to get him back a little bit further off of the pace, but Datara has not faced very tough competition in his last few races, beaten badly by BB Frank last time out.
Mystery horse is number 4, Tomcito.
Tomcito, a Peruvian horse, ridden by a Peruvian jockey. Chop Chop, Jorge Chavez. Not only has he got to face tougher competition here, though, than he faced in Peru, he hasn't raced since last November.
Cool Gator, name says Florida, but he's a Canadian coming off Woodbine's Polytrack.
Trained by Danny Vella in his first start here, an allowance race at Gulfstream. He finished second. He could run in the Queen's Plate later on. He's a Canadian bred. They want to see if he's Derby worthy. 6
Nistley's Crunch won his last race at this distance here at this park.
Don't like the name much, Nistley's Crunch, but this is a horse that's had a bad habit of bearing in through the stretch with his jockey toward the rail. The blinkers are on him today to try to fix that.
The 7 BB Frank right now 50-1.
He was 41-1 the last time he ran an allowance race. Right here, he blew away Datara with a big win, claimed from Nick Zito earlier in the year.
We've given you reason to like number 8 Elysium Fields.
Barkley Tag of Funny Side fame is his trainer. Tag has 3 Derby contenders. This one might be the best of the bunch.
Hayburn coming off 2 straight impressive wins here at Gulfstream.
And they were wow factor races. He won the first one by 14.5. He won the next one by 6. This horse is hitting on all cylinders right now.
Steinbrenner's Yankees open the season on Monday. In moments, his Colt Majestic Warrior trying to bring him attention elsewhere.
Coming off a very disappointing 7th place finish in the Louisiana Derby. As a result, his trainer Bill Mott says they're on a fact-finding mission today.
There's Todd Pletcher's Face the Cat.
Recently purchased from trainer Helen Pitts. Does that sound familiar? That's the same pattern as Curlin from a year ago. Face the Cat is 2 for 3 lifetime.
And your favorite at 8-5 right now, Big Brown.
How good is he? We know he's big and he's brown and he's fast, but this is the acid test today against much tougher competition.
2 wins by a combined 24 lengths for Big Brown. He is your favorite right now at 8-5.
And the big problem with Big Brown could be his dreaded number 12 post position. These are the 4-year post stats since the track was reconfigured. You can see that any horse breaking from the inside 3 posts has had on average about a 5 times greater chance than a horse breaking from the outside 3 posts. Specifically, post 11 and 12 are 0 for 29, and this year alone, horses from post 8 and out are 0 for 37. That's Tomcito. He's already a Derby winner. The Peru Derby. Today is his first start in this country. He's never faced horses this talented, so now we find out if he's just an ordinary 3-year-old or if he's another Invasor, the 2006 Horse of the Year who came from Uruguay. Robert LaPenta already has 2 horses on the Derby trail, Warpass and Cool Coleman. Today he runs Datara in the Florida Derby against 2 other horses he used to own, BB Frank and Fierce Wind. The man is everywhere. And remember 2 years ago when George Steinbrenner had Bellamy Road, one of the Kentucky Derby favorites. That didn't turn out too well. But now the boss has another potential Derby horse in Majestic Warrior, who tries to bounce back today from a disappointing performance at the fairgrounds.
Let's bring in the hammer now and dial up Hank's Bank. All right, Hank, you didn't have a good start there, but last night when we went out to dinner at Joe's Stone Crabs, every single waiter was stopping you, talking about who do you like in the Florida Derby. Was that misinformation you were giving them last night?
I like Hayburn. I saw this horse run twice here. He's got a great turn of foot. Last week I flew back from Kentucky with Edgar Prado, who rode him in his 2 races here. Of course, Edgar's in Dubai today, but he told me when he took him back in his last race and then he asked him to come on, he said he really gave him that Kentucky Derby move. Edgar likes him a lot too, and I'm going with him, boxing him in exactas with Elysium Fields number 8 and Fierce Wind number 1. That's the $20 exacta box, and I'm going to put another $60 on Hayburn's nose to win the race. That uses up all my money for today.
Hank, the wait staff didn't hurt you. He's holding at 11-1, so you're in good shape there. Hank says Hayburn. Will it happen? Under 5 minutes to go to the $1 million Florida Derby. The buzz is all about Big Brown. We'll see if he can go to 3 for 3 when we
thinks it's a 2-horse race. One more note on what Big Brown is facing. I've already told you post 11 and 12 are 0 for 29. Well, only 2 horses in the last 4 years since they changed the track have won from post 10. One of them was 4U Repo, a stakes horse. You might have heard of the other one, Barbaro, when he won the Florida Derby.
That was in 2006. Number 7 is BB Frank. Janine, Amy Tarrant, owner-trainer, calls this horse her little treasure.
He definitely is, Joe. And, you know, Amy is a grandmother of 6 with a modest, 13-horse stable. She's only been training since 2000. She claimed this horse from Nick Zito, looking for a nice allowance horse to bring back to New Jersey. So I asked her today, what's it like to run in $1 million race? She said, you know what? I have no pressure because this horse has already exceeded my expectations. She's like, I have nothing to lose, everything to gain, no pressure on me. I'm just going to enjoy the moment, and it's just really nice to be in this race.
Yeah, no pressure on BB Frank, but plenty of pressure on Big Brown, the 3-2 favorite right now. Post positions 11 and 12, 0 for 29 since Gulfstream Park was rebuilt.
Well, Kent DeSormo has to do one thing immediately and make sure that Big Brown breaks extremely well, because even a neck miss break is going to cost him 4 or 5 lengths going into the first turn, Joe.
Big Brown, your favorite right now. Elysium Fields, the second choice. Elysium Fields, that's a name from Greek mythology. The final resting place of the souls of the heroic. Could he be heroic today? He showed us he can close.
As confident as Kent DeSormo is in Big Brown, and he is very confident, A. Barcoa also feels that Elysium Fields is something special. He thought he should have won the Fountain of Youth. And again, he's battle-tested against the tough horses where Big Brown so far isn't.
There's the 11. Todd Pletcher's Face the Cat.
Trained by Bill Mott, was spectacular last year going 7 furlongs, but is he just a come-from-behind sprinter? Very disappointing in the Louisiana Derby earlier this year.
Majestic Warrior goes in. Jerry, let's talk strategy as they load here.
All right, Fierce Wind, number 1, is going to break like a shot, and Kent DeSormo has got to break well on Big Brown. Look for Ibarco and Elysium Fields to ease back about 4 or 5 lengths off the lead.
Inside, outside. That's what you watch leading the
bookends.
There he is, Big Brown. And let's meet the track announcer who is going to call this critical Kentucky Derby prep. Larry Colmus will have the call. The 57th running of the $1 million Florida Derby. Hello, Larry.
Big Brown getting set to go into the starting gate here. The horses are loaded, just about ready for the start of the 57th running of the Grade 1 Florida Derby. Big Brown at 3-2 on the tote board. Just balked a little bit, but they've got him in line. Closing up the gate. We're set for the start. They're off in the Florida Derby. And Fierce Wind fires fast from the inside. Smooth Air is right alongside, and Big Brown's going to be wide into that turn, but he's up with the pace setters, and Nisley's Crunch is up there too. So it's Big Brown, Nisley's Crunch in a tight spot there, and Fierce Wind down on the inside. Face the Cat is in 4th. He's racing 2.5 lengths off the lead. Elysium Fields is 5th early. He's just outside of them. And then to the inside comes Smooth Air. Hey Burn is racing about 7 off the lead. Right to the inside comes Datara. Break of another 2 to Cool Gator. Then BB Frank to the outside. Majestic Warrior. And the Peruvian Tom Cito is last. A fast pace here. 22 and 3 the first quarter. And Big Brown has made the lead. Big Brown and Kent DeSormo in front by a length. Nisley's Crunch, his closest pursuer, 2nd. And then it's Face the Cat in 3rd. Elysium Fields is 4th on the outside. He's 5 lengths off the lead. Smooth Air just went by Fierce Wind. He's under a ride after a 45 and 4.5 mile. And then it's a length and a half back to Hey Burn looking to get going. Datara is next. Cool Gator to the outside. Majestic Warrior's got work to do. Tom Cito and BB Frank. Around the far turn, 3/4 and 110 flat. And Big Brown has a 2.5 length lead here over Nisley's Crunch. Then Smooth Air. Hey Burn is 4th. He's down on the inside as they come to the top of the stretch in the Florida Derby. And Kent DeSormo and Big Brown have the lead. They're in front by 4 lengths at the 8th pole. And they're widening here from Smooth Air, who's been left behind. And Big Brown has done it. Big Brown undefeated on his way to Louisville as he wins the Florida Derby. Smooth Air was 2nd, Tom Cito was 3rd, and then came Hey Burn in 4th. The final time, 1 minute 48.16 seconds.
Let me be the first to say, wow. Big Brown, 3 for 3.
Now I can see why DeSormo's agent said wherever Big Brown goes, that's where Kent DeSormo goes on the Derby trail. Awesome. You can see Big Brown from the outside right there broke as well as everybody else, but not better than everybody else, therefore parking him about 4 or 5 wide going into the first turn. He obviously had to be much the best to overcome that. Look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4 wide going into the first turn. That's almost 3 lengths difference if you stay that wide all the way around the track, Randy.
And as a result of that trip into the first turn, DeSormo had to use him maybe a little more early than he wanted to keep from really getting hung out wide. So the pace was extraordinarily fast for 1 1/8 miles at Gulfstream Park. 22 and 3, 45 and 4, 110 flat. What separates a really good horse from the others is that they can run fast like this and keep running, and that's exactly what he did.
You know, 45 and change is completely awesome. That's an insane time to expect a horse to carry his speed and finish as well as he did.
Does he have bad feet?
Kent,
I think I heard he had bad feet.
I was questioning your comments about how good this horse is. I'm awestruck. Tell me how good he is.
You want to know what's insane? It felt like 50. This guy, his ears were straight forward, his head was up, and he was just bounding down the backside like a deer in a meadow. I mean, I would have. This is when you know you ride a good horse. You go around the track and you win that round in 45. What the heck? 50.
Well, I guess there's no point in asking you who your mount is for the Kentucky Derby, is there?
Well, don't even start.
All right, buddy, congrats.
And here's a good point I want to make for the people watching that haven't seen Big Brown run before maybe. Now, you know Warpass is a sensationally fast horse on the front end. And you know, especially if he wins the Wood and he goes on to the Derby, he's going to be committed to go to the lead. What we saw today is not how Big Brown has to run. When he won his last race, an allowance race, he sat just off the pace and relaxed nice and easily and then kicked on. So he's multi-dimensional. He's not just a horse that's got to have the early lead. This
you know,
is some kind
what
of
I
horse
think
right
might be lost is Kent had to ask him a little just to get over into the 4 or 5 pass. Had he not done that, I think Big Brown would have settled a length or two, which is huge going into the race like the Kentucky Derby.
He can do it every which way. We were watching those fractions go up and say, well, there's no way he's going to hold on. 22.76, 45 and 4. And then you heard DeSormo say it felt like he was running 50 in the half. Janine, what do you have?
Well, I'm here with trainer Rick Dutrow, and I actually think he's kind of in a state of shock. Sum up what this day has been like for you today. Two races in Dubai, and now this unbelievable performance.
Well, it's just unbelievable. I couldn't even dream something like this. I want to get to the horse.
How good is this horse?
We're going to find out.
Congratulations. Hey, guys, it must have been those magic shoes.
Those shoes, those $550 shoes. People, something is starting here in South Florida. Its name is Big Brown. Destination Louisville. Watch out. We will have more as we recap the Florida Derby when we return to Gulfstream Park. Who was hyping and hyping and hyping this week. Folks, it was not hype. Big Brown, now 3 for 3, pays $5 on top of Smooth Air. And the South American, Tomcito, that exacta paid $34 to try, $351.
Big Brown becomes the only horse in the long history of the Florida Derby to ever win this race in just his 3rd career start. It was Empire Maker's 4th career start when he won this race back in 2003.
Those prices in Florida finish presented by Old Mutual, and you see there Big Brown collecting $600,000. Elysium Field,
wow, that's
second choice.
Very
Jared.
disappointing.
Well, he went after him a little early. I think it took some of his punch out, but just a completely disappointing performance for him. But I want to make the point, no wonder Big Brown's feet hurt. If I went that fast, my feet would be hurting too.
This is really, really exciting for the sport. Obviously, the last time we had an undefeated horse come out of the Florida Derby 2 years ago with Barbaro, and he did not make it look that easy. Big Brown now 29 combined lengths in his 3 victories.
To me, here is the biggest problem with Big Brown when he gets to the Kentucky Derby. Assuming he comes out of this race sound, and we know he's got some severely problematic feet. The racetrack at Churchill Downs tends to be as hard as this table.
Okay.
Very, very hard and fast, not conducive to a horse with bad feet. So that's a big question mark in my eyes.
We do know one thing for sure. There will be pace in the Kentucky Derby this year.
Yeah.
Helping Pyro's chances out, so don't overlook him yet.
A lot to look forward to, and we are looking forward to seeing now what this does in shaking up everybody's Derby list of the contenders. Gentlemen, you just saw what Big Brown did. Your updated lists.
Well, I mean, a lot of it in horse racing is what have you done for me lately, and Big Brown was certainly really impressive here, but don't forget Pyro's Risen Star. It was behind Spectacular Bid's Florida Derby. It was the second most impressive Derby prep win I've ever seen, and because of the pace in the Derby and the hard racetrack, I'd still have to put him on top.
Well, I talked all about improving as you go to the Kentucky. All of these horses on both of our lists have improved with each race, so they're all coming into the Derby in tip-top shape.
Hank there, just being a rebel there. Pyro, number 5. Hank, your impressions on Big Brown?
Well, you got to be impressed, but I'm not ready to go to the Derby with him on top off a speed favoring trip here at Gulfstream. Let's see. There's a few weeks left, and there's some races yet to be done.
The celebration in the winner's circle. Rick Dutrow, Kent DeSormo. What a day for Dutrow. 2 wins in Dubai, and then comes back and takes $600,000 with Big Brown here in the 57th running of the Florida Derby. A spectacular performance by Big Brown. And this concludes our coverage of the Florida Derby. Be sure to join us Saturday, April 12th on ESPN at 5:30.